It has been more than a week now since Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of killing his own wife, Maggie, and their son, Paul. And now that the trial is over, many are wondering what happens next.
Just last week, his attorneys filed a notice of appeal on his 2 murder convictions. News 19's Rachel Ripp joins us in the studio now for a breakdown of the appeals process. Rachel.
Yes, Andrea, Darcy, that's right. Appellate lawyers and criminal lawyers I spoke with today tell me there are lots of options for Alex Murdaugh when it comes to next steps in the appeals process. He's been convicted in the murders of his wife Maggie and son Paul, but there is potential for a new trial for Murdaugh in the coming years. After Alex Murdaugh was found guilty of killing his wife and son during his trial at the Colleton County Courthouse earlier this month, his defense team filed this notice of appeal. According to local and regional attorneys, what this means is now Alex has 3 avenues of possible relief: direct appeal, post-conviction relief, and writ of habeas corpus. We spoke with lawyers who are knowledgeable of the law but not directly connected to the Murdaugh case. They say the direct order of an appeal first goes before the South Carolina Court of Appeals, next to the South Carolina Supreme Court, and then the U.S. Supreme Court, where his trial attorneys or a new appellate attorney argues the errors that occurred in the trial. Elizabeth Franklin Best is an appellate attorney in Columbia. She says after direct appeal comes post-conviction relief.
That would be his opportunity to raise any claims of ineffective assistance of counsel, prosecutorial misconduct, the kinds of claims that typically require additional factual development.
The last avenue lawyers explain is writ of habeas corpus. They say in this stage of appeals, Alex Murdaugh could reiterate all his prior appeal reasonings in addition to arguing that his defense trial lawyers did not effectively assist him, which would go to the South Carolina Federal District Court, then U.S. Supreme Court. Miller Sheely is a professor at the Charleston School of Law specializing in criminal procedure.
We've gone through the trial and appeal, up one pillar. We've gone to post-conviction relief, up the second pillar. That's 4 years probably from today, maybe 4.5 if it comes to that. And then there's a third pillar that can run another 1.5 or 2 years. And that's the defendant can go to U.S. District Court.
If none of that works, local appellate attorneys say there are few exceptions for Alex Murdaugh, like new evidence found showing his innocence, or the prosecution failing to turn over evidence pointing to someone else committing the crimes. Columbia appellate attorney Elizabeth Franklin Best says she believes Alex is prepared with lawyers for next steps.
Somebody like Alex Murdaugh, who is an attorney himself, surely kind of understood the importance of getting, very trained appellate counsel sort of retained on the front end in case it came to this eventuality. So I think he's got somebody who's prepared to sort of pick up the ball and carry it from here forward.
Both Franklin Best and Sheely say they anticipate Alex's financial crimes will be a focus of the appeal, with lawyers saying the ruling was based on prior bad acts or character and not motive. Now, according to the criminal and appellate attorneys I spoke with, appeals for Alex Murdaugh's double murder conviction could run another 6 to 8 years. They also say that the high-profile nature of this case will fade at the U.S. Supreme Court level. In studio, Rachel Ripp, News 19, WLTX.
All right, thank you so much, Rachel. And now that the Murdaugh trial has ended, things in Walterboro are slowly trying to get back to normal there for residents. You will remember this scene just 10 days ago outside the courthouse. It was swarmed with media from literally all over the country. But now it's just an empty front lawn. Still, families are coming by, stopping to take pictures of the now infamous courthouse. Similar action was seen outside the Murdaugh's Moselle property. That's where Paul and Maggie were murdered. Despite some occasional tourists, one shop owner tells us things are pretty much back to how they used to be.
It's nice to have things back to normal, whatever that is, but we miss our new regulars, which are now gone back to Louisiana or North Carolina, wherever they came from.
Hundreds from around the state not only visited Walterboro during the trial, but closely followed what happened in the courtroom each day.
We talked with some local attorneys in the Midlands to get some answers on why so many people were interested in this case. They say the level of power and influence the Murdaugh family had over Walterboro plays a huge role. Experts also say the new information revealed in the trial allowed viewers to imagine what might have happened as those details unfolded. Other lawyers argue there's still a lot of attention toward the case because of how much information remains unclear, like the full story surrounding Murdaugh's attempted suicide.
Well, of course, we're going to be following Murdaugh's appeal very closely and updating you on this story like you expect us to. In the meantime, make sure to go to WLTX.com or check out our WLTX YouTube page for all of our complete Murdaugh coverage.